Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Welcome, Custom Car fans! My name is Aurora, and I'm here to bring you the Battleground report of Battlegrounds 16. We'll be taking a look at the top players in this casual competition, what they played, and how they fared in the lead up to the finals. But first, we must address the fallen competitors. 27 players entered Battleground 16, and the 23 who did not emerge in Top Cut were playing Starry Knight, Inazuma Fighter, Plant Link, Battle Cats, Cosmic Primal, Zircon, Abyss Actor, Legion, Synchron, Learned Wings, Voltron, Und, Holy Fear, Vampopstar, Galaxy Photon, Libromancer, Dreamer's Path, Dawn and Ruin, Dark Crusher, Tokyo Terror, Skull Servant, Patrol Element Jin Adventurer, or P for short, and Chibrite. Before we get into the top 4, however, we must recognise those who only just lost out on the top cut. Manny took 8th place playing Battle Cat with a Nemesis package, using the strong Battle Cat Bahamut alongside Arch Nemesis Ashatos to control the board. In 7th was the awkward one, playing Plant Link. Ever a faithful follower of the TCG, this time luck wasn't on his side. There are no more Sunvines to be thrashed. In 6th was Luigi, playing the Light Warrior deck of Inazuma Fighter. Based on the Inazuma 7 anime, these cards can swarm the field easily using a multitude of searching effects and build a number of disruptions by fusion summoning and utilising their punk-like traps. Just scraping top cut and only losing out on it to the first and second place finishers in the last 2 rounds was Doc on Starry Knight. Out of all the new decks unveiled for this battleground, Starry Knight made the biggest splash, using a number of one-card combos to drag out the game into a grind with seemingly endless recursion and strong mini-bosses. With that, let's take a look at a familiar 4th place finisher. The finisher in 4th place was once again Dome, this time playing neither Mortal Engine or Astronomy Punk, but Endless Sands. Endless Sands is a deck that requires careful resource management, using the powerful Hourglass Continuous traps to mill cards from the top of your deck and trigger the effects of the Endless Sands cards. These Hourglasses keep turning, next shuffling away Endless Sands cards from the graveyard to reset resources and disrupt the game. In round 1, Dome's game went null due to technical issues from his opponent, Red, and then he beat Ake on P in a clean 2-0 in round 2. Round 3 was a victory 2-1 against Refuse's Cosmic Primal, and round 4 was a win against Manny's Battle Cats 2-1. Both Dome and his round 5 opponents had already qualified for Top Cut at that point, and as such their duel was skipped. Top Cut began with a loss for Dome against the eventual 2nd place winner, and he settled into a familiar 4th place finish after the finals, which, despite not being a winning place, is still impressive. The 3rd place finisher was Amaranthin, who was playing Nebulance. A rank 7 focused archetype, Nebulance monsters swarm the field with their strong self-summoning and on-summon effects, alongside a strong spell lineup, and trigger disruptive effects when detached from an Xyz monster as part of that monster's effect. This makes their boss monsters unconventional and dangerously effective, often having 2 or more disruption effects each. In round 1, he picked up a 2-1 victory against Cole on Und, and round 2 was much of the same, with a 2-1 victory against Sok on Learned Wings. He lost round 3 in a 2-0 defeat to Doc's Starry Knights, but quickly picked up the pace again in rounds 4 and 5, winning 2-0 first against Riel on Zircon, and then again against Luigi's Inazuma Fighter. Going into Top Cut, Amar lost his match against the eventual winner of the tournament in a nail-biting 1-2 loss, and slotted into 3rd following the finals with a 4-2 record. In 2nd place was Gator, playing Super Ego. Super Ego is an intensely aggressive Gemini deck, boasting monsters with 2 Gemini effects that have to be summoned 3 times to gain them. In conjunction with their field spell, each of these monsters becomes 4,000 attack, which is no small value. Their disruption effects and focus on banish-centric removal quite often makes them a pain for other decks to deal with. The strength of this deck was displayed well throughout all the tournament, as he beat Ocean Skull Servants in a 2-1 match in round 1. Round 2 wasn't so kind, however, as he lost to Pretzel's Dreamer's Path in a 1-2 game. After that was 3 consecutive victories that catapulted him into Top Cut, beating Sock's Learned Wings 2-1 in round 3, Orc's Plant Link 2-1 in round 4, and Doc's Starry Nights 2-1 in round 5. The first match of Top Cut was against Dome's Endless Sands, which Gator took in a 2-0 victory, though he lost out on the top spot in a close 1-2 match in the finals. With a 5-2 record, Gator played perhaps the most powerful Gemini deck that has ever seen play this tournament, displaying that the mechanic does have feet to stand on. First place, however, was, me. I was also playing Starry Nights, like Doc, with whom I'd worked on the support that had been approved just a day before signups closed. The deck uses a bevy of strong TCG cards, like Starry Night Rael and Balefire, as well as their payoffs in Blast and Starry Night Starry Dragon, and combines it with an incredibly potent EXU support pool that boosts its consistency and the power of its endboard. In round 1, I won a 2-1 victory against Leoka's Voltron, then beat Pretzel's Dreamer's Path in 2-0 in round 2. In round 3, my opponent Manny and I had scheduling issues, and as such that round was voided. Round 4 was a mirror match against Doc, which secured my spot in the Top Cut in a 2-0 victory and doomed his to winning against Gator, which did not happen. Since I had already had my Top Cut position secured, as did Dome, our match in round 5 was skipped and we moved on to Top Cut, where I just about managed to beat Amaranth's Nebulant to enter finals. In finals, I beat Super Ego in a tight 2-1 match, which I shall now present. Right, so this is the finals match between Gator and myself. I am the Forgotten because I am edgy like that. Gator has won the die roll and is deciding to go first, which is definitely the correct choice. Gator has much more of an advantage than a number of other competitors in this tournament, as he has managed to already play against Starry Night. In fact, so did Amaranthan. So the fact that I was able to beat them is nothing short of a miracle. As we can see, the open here for me is actually really good. 2 Starry Whelps of the Starry Nights and a Starry Night Rael are all 1-card combos, as well as infinite impermanence to block at least some of what Gator is going to try to do. In return, Gator has, he has what seems to be enough. This is a negate. Once returning for opponent activates a card or effect, you negate the activation and then force your opponent to banish one, which isn't fun, particularly, but it happens. Somnambulist is also a graveyard hate card. Like it's like a miniature, almost like a miniature Transmigration Prophecy, but on a monster that's 4,000 attack under this field spell. So that's going to be enjoyable to try and play through. So Gator's going to start off by activating Wasteland of the Mind, and then is going to pitch Somnambulist in order to use its effect to special summon a Super Egotist monster from the hand. That card is going to be not Somnambulist, which is the one that he special summoned, because these monsters do look relatively similar. In fact, it's going to be the level 5 monster Super Egotist Prognosticator, which is then going to then he's going to pitch the second Somnambulist, because no hard once per turn effects, or even once per turn effects, apart from like these, but these are soft once per turn effects because you can only control one, so it doesn't really matter. But yes, these pitching effects are not a hard once per turn at all. This is going to special summon the Somnambulist from the graveyard, and then we are going to normal summon, I believe, this Somnambulist, which is then going to trigger Wasteland of the Mind, which is going to say immediately then normal summon another monster. In addition, Somnambulist's effect is going to activate on normal summon, where you can then normal summon another monster you already control, in other words, basically triggering this Prognosticator. So this Prognosticator is going to get normal summoned, and the Somnambulist is going to be normal summoned for the second time. Then Somnambulist's effect is going to activate again, because this is not a once per turn, because Somnambulist was once again normal summoned, and will then normal summon this Prognosticator for the second time, which is going to bring them both up to all of their effects. It's going to set Gemini Ablation, which does nothing since there's no card in hand to discard, and the turn it's going to get passed. Both of these monsters currently have their last effects. Somnambulist gains 2,000 attack, which also under Wasteland of the Mind, which means that Super Egotist monsters gain 500 for each time they were normal summoned, means that this is a 4,000 attack beta, and this one gains 500 attack, which also brings it up to 3k, but under Wasteland of the Mind, it's also a 4k. I know it's a lot to take in. But here's the fun thing. Starry Knights really struggle with monsters that have high attack points. We're going to draw into Ceremony here, which is genuinely awful. This card is so bad, and I don't know why I'm playing it. But we're going to activate Terraforming and search for Starry Night Sky, our Resident Field spell. This card is also pretty terrible, and I forget to trigger it constantly. We're now going to activate Infinite Impermanence, and we're going to target the Prognosticator in order to bait out its banish effect. We're going to banish the Infimp, because we can. And then next we're going to normal summon Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights. We're going to trigger the Wasteland of the Mind first, actually, because Wasteland of the Mind is a mandatory effect, whereas Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights is a, it's called a, words, think of your words, honey, come on. Optional effect, that's the word I'm looking for. And since a mandatory effect always takes precedence over a optional effect, we're going to be activating Wasteland of the Mind in Chainlink 1 and Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights in Chainlink 2. We're going to choose the second effect of Wasteland of the Mind because it's going to be triggering Chainlink 1. So I still get to add with Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights before this triggers, which is going to add from my deck to my hand Starry Night Steed. One of the most broken cards in this entire deck, but it absolutely needs to be what it is, or otherwise the deck doesn't function. We're going to activate Starry Night Ceremony, and then we're going to special summon the Starry Night Steed. I don't know why I'm activating this. I really have no idea why I'm activating this. We're going to special summon the Starry Night Steed, and then use this effect, pitching Starry Night Rael to the graveyard, in order to special summon from the deck Starry Night Orbitail. Since I know my opponent doesn't have any hand, then I know I don't need to worry about Nibiru, the Primal Being, which is a big issue for Starry Knights since they summon, I think, 5 or 6 times. Orbitail's effect will tribute itself to set Starry Night Blast from our deck, which is an Omni-Negate trap card. Very interesting. And then Starry Night Steed's second effect will activate, which is going to bounce itself back to the hand in order to special summon itself from the hand. I forgot to activate Starry Night Sky here because I'm an idiot. That's all you need to know. This is going to trigger the effect in the graveyard of Starry Night Orbitail, which is whenever a Starry Night monster is special summoned. So whenever a Light Dragon returns to the hand, whenever a Light Dragon returns to the hand, which Steed did, it can special summon itself from the graveyard. However, thanks to the effect of Somnambulist, this isn't going to happen. Orbitail is going to return to the top of my deck, thanks to the effect of Somnambulist. And then I'm going to use this effect of Starry Night Sky, which is going to give me an extra normal summon. And I'm going to normal summon Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights. Now, the interesting thing about Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights is that it has a third effect as well as hard once per turn effects. While your opponent controls a dark monster, it becomes level 7. And both of these monsters are dark monsters. As a result, this Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights is level 7, much like this Starry Night Steed. And we're going to overlay the two of them in order to summon number 192 Subspace Phantasm Dragon, which is basically just DPE. We're going to use the effect of Subspace Dragon. While this Prognosticator has already used up its effect, we're going to want to remove it from the field, banishing both Ceremony and Prognosticator from play. So, you know, Ceremony did one thing that was good. We're then going to trigger the effect of Rael in order to special summon back that Starry Night Steed. The reason that we're doing this is because we want to have Starry Night Blast in rotation. Returning a level 7 Light Dragon you control to the hand isn't possible with only a Subspace Phantasm Dragon and Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights on the field. Although Starry Whelp would also become a level 7 Light Dragon as long as our opponent also controls a Dark Monster. But her opponent wouldn't control a Dark Monster forever, so this is important. This is important. Unfortunately, since Somnambulist is a 4000 beta, I can't beat over it in any way. We're going to go to the end phase, and nothing's going to happen. Gator is going to draw, and it's going to be Kairosophist. Heck yeah, that's a card that exists. Main phase 1 is going to end, and it's going to go to the battle phase, in which Somnambulist is going to attempt to beat over Subspace Phantasm Dragon. Subspace Phantasm Dragon's effect is going to activate, detaching the Whelp to target the Sky and the Somnambulist, banishing both of them. Before that, however, Somnambulist is going to target Terra and put it onto the top of my deck. Name phase 2, Gemini Ablation is going to attempt to be activated, discarding Kairosophist for cost, and I'm going to absolutely not let that activate, and Blast is going to return my steed to my hand, which will negate and destroy the Gemini Ablation. This card is so crazy good, which is why I absolutely cannot let it resolve. We're going to draw, we're going to grab Terraforming off the top, obviously. Then we're going to activate the effect of Terraforming, drawing into a Starry Night Sky. Starry Night Sky is going to be activated, we're going to special summon the Starry Night Steed and use its second effect to bounce itself to the hand and special summon it. This is going to trigger both the effect of Starry Night Sky and Starry Night Orbitail. Or, no. Yeah, no, we're going to miss Starry Whelp with the Starry Knights, and we don't have Orbitail in rotation. Where's Orbitail? Oh yeah, it went back to the top of the deck. That's where it went. Unfortunately, that's going to be enough for Gator to just scoop it up. We could have made another rank 7 there, although I don't remember exactly which ones we play. Nah, it doesn't matter. Gator admitted defeat, and we will be going into the second game, where Gator will again choose to go first, which is definitely the right decision. This hand, I draw into Lancia, which is wonderful. But Gator has Prosby, which means that I don't get to do anything about it unless I shotgun Lancia in the draw phase. Which, you know, it wouldn't be that bad, but yeah. Off the top, we're going to see 2 Kairosophist, a Psychokinetic, a Prognosticator, Ablation, and Reaction. What does Gator add here? He adds these what's it called again? Psychokinetic names. This is definitely probably the best choice. It would either be that or Reaction, most likely, since Reaction is also a very strong monster. But since we already have the Prognosticator in the hand, we don't really need too much more disruption. We're going to start by activating Wasteland of the Mind. Again, just such an incredibly powerful field spell. Then we're going to ditch the Prognosticator for its effect to special summon the Psychokinetic. We're then going to normal summon the Psychokinetic, which is going to normal summon itself and then activate its effect on normal summon in order to search for a... what's it searching for again? It searches for any superego card. Reminder, this effect is also not once per turn. We're going to be using the first effect of Wasteland of the Mind, which is going to extra normal summon a monster on the field, which is going to normal summon our Psychokinetic, which is going to trigger it again to search for another superego card. This time it's going to be Reaction. We're then going to activate the effect of Superego Relaxation, special summon that Prognosticator from the graveyard, which will not be gaining its effects just yet, but it soon will be, because I'm not going to banish any cards from my deck to negate its second effect, and the projection is going to be sent from the deck to the graveyard. We're then going to be setting 2 and activating the effect of anything else. No, we're just going to be ending the turn with a vanilla Prognosticator and Psychokinetic on the field with its effect, which is basically just drop off. We're going to draw, and it's going to be Rael, which is perfectly the starter we need. We're going to go standby phase, attempt to activate Lancia before reading that artifacts have card effects. You know, cards have text. We're going to activate the effect of Terraforming first, trying to bait out the Ash. We're going to get the Sky because Gator's not dumb enough to activate that Ash. The effect of the Psychokinetic is going to activate Banishing that Sky, which is also something that we wanted to bait out. Next, we're going to activate Pot of Prosperity, which is going to banish 6, and I think this is where Ash is going to be coming down. Yes, it is. With no more cards in hand, however, we're going to normal summon the Rael, and we're going to use the effect of Rael, and that is going to be met with a Super Ego Reaction, which can both normal summon this Prognosticator. What does it do? Target a Gemini you control and one face-up card your opponent controls and negate their effects until the end of the turn. Then if your monster was normal summoned twice, pop that monster. This is going to pop Rael, and that is just going to be the end of this game. Absolutely nothing I could do in that scenario, as Gator just completely stunned me out of doing anything. Game 3, and I'm finally going to be able to go first with my going first deck. What we're going to see in the hand from Gator, we're not actually going to see Nib, surprisingly enough, but we are going to see Imperm and Evenly Matched. What a fun card for us to play through. Main one, we're going to activate the effect of Starry Night Balefire, and we're going to use its effect to search for Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights. The thinking here is because we have Starry Night Ambush in the hand, we can search for Orbitail, which is the ideal discard for a Starry Night Steed. However, our normal summon of Starry Whelp with the Starry Knights is going to be impermed, which makes sense. Absolutely it does. And then we're going to special summon Starry Night Steed since we hard drew it. We're going to then activate the effect of Starry Night Steed, discarding the other Starry Night Steed, because we draw Yep 2. We're going to special summon the Starry Night Orbitail from the deck. Orbitail's effect is going to activate on the field, attributing itself in order to set from the deck the Starry Night Blast, which is just such a powerful trap card that it's so good that this deck has access to it. Next, we're going to activate the effect of Steed, bouncing itself back to the hand and special summoning a level 7 Light Dragon from the hand, which is again going to be the Starry Night Steed. And then we're going to activate the effect of Orbitail in the graveyard, special summoning itself from the graveyard when a level 7 Light Dragon is returned to the hand. Next, we're going to overlay Whelp and the Orbitail. That's 5 summons, right? Don't start, Gator. He does not have Nib in his hand, and we're not playing around it. Typically, whenever anybody says that's 5 summons, right, it's because they do not have Nib and they want you to think they do. We're going to summon Silent Night Starry Dragon, which is possibly one of the most powerful cards in this deck, and we're going to use this effect to detach 1 material, and we're going to search for Balefire. Now, the thinking here was that we could, what was the thinking here? The thinking was we could search for, I don't know, like Rael or Galakale for the follow-up, but we already activated Balefire. We also didn't have any other targets apart from this ambush, apart from Balefire, because we sided out all of the skies. Because Sky is just not that good. It's really not that good. We're going to set the ambush, and we're going to end of the main phase, which luckily is not going to be met by a, it's very, very, very luckily not going to be met by Nibiru the Primal Being, and it's going to pass over to Gator's turn, where he's going to draw Ash for turn, which is not something that he wants to see. He's going to start off by activating Super Ego Activation, which I believe I'm going to be Omni-negating with Blast. Yep, Blast. Blast is going to return this Starry Night Steed to our hand, and we're going to be negating and destroying that Super Ego Activation. A very powerful card, which is basically Engage. On res, I'm thinking pretty much of activating Silent Night Starry Dragon immediately, because the effect of this card will essentially summon something called Starry Night, Holy Dragon Starry Night. No, Holy Night Starry Dragon. That's it, that's the order of cards. Yeah, Holy Night Starry Dragon, which has the Floodgate effect, where dark monsters your opponent controls have their effects negated, and it cannot be targeted by card effects when it's summoned from the hand. This is an incredibly powerful floodgate against something like Super Ego, where all of their monsters are dark monsters. We're going to eventually think that Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights is actually the correct card to activate here, which is going to banish itself from the graveyard and set the Blast from the graveyard. This is not, in fact, the correct decision, since Gator does have evenly matched. Next will be the activation of Pot of Prosperity, which is going to get ticked through. And we're going to see off the top a lot of very scary cards. Lightning Storm obviously washes all my back row, but the most important card that it washes at the moment is Silent Night Starry Dragon, which I really don't want to get targeted because it means I'm forced to activate it. Emergency Teleport is any Super Ego monster that's not Prognosticator or Kairosophist, and both of them are here basically so Gator can choose whatever he wants, as well as 2 Droll and Lockbirds, which quite honestly don't do very much against Starry Knights. Gator is going to choose to add to his hand after we stop talking. What are we talking? Kairosophist. Very powerful card. Prognosticator and everything is going to get placed on the bottom of the deck. The reason why Kairosophist is particularly powerful here is because it's paired with Psychokinetic. This would be incredibly powerful if I didn't have Silent Night. End of main 1. Oh, fuck off. I was not particularly happy with evenly matched. And I decided to banish both my back row, which I think was still the correct decision, since I think a Floodgate is probably more powerful than Starry Night Ambush. Next is going to be discarding the Kairosophist to special summon. I'm going to chain it to the effect to special summon the Silent Night Starry Dragon, detaching a material and tributing itself, which is going to be met by Ash. And the last card in hand is the literal best card in the deck, Super Egotist Psychokinetic. Psychokinetic is going to be normal summoned, and its effect is going to activate searching for Super Ego Relaxation. Relaxation is going to activate special summoning back the Chirosophist, and then it's going to trigger the activation to normal summon the Psychokinetic. Psychokinetic is going to add Super Ego Relaxation to the hand, and is then going to be passing the turn. Draw phase, going to draw into Rael, which is brilliant, especially with the Orbitail and the Steed in the graveyard. No cards in hand means no fear from Nib, and the interruptions on this board are Psychokinetic and Super Ego Reaction, which is a negate and pop. We're going to start by activating Balefire. Balefire's effect is going to be adding from the deck to the hand the Starry Whelp of the Starry Knights, and then we're going to, on res, activate the Psychokinetic, which is going to banish the Whelp. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. I needed to activate something that would result in a good enough card that Psychokinetic needed to banish it. And next is going to be normal summoning Starry Knight Rael, and using Rael's effect, which is going to be met with Super Ego Reaction, which is not going to pop the Starry Knight Rael, which is absolutely fair, because Starry Knight Rael has an effect in the graveyard where it can banish itself to reborn a monster. However, this means that we can trigger the Steed in hand. Yep, Steed. Steed's effect is going to activate targeting itself to bounce itself. Reaction is going to activate in the graveyard to quick normal summon the Chirosophist, which is going to draw a card, but I don't believe that that card is going to be good enough. What is that card that's drawn? I believe it's Nib. No, it's Droll and Lockbird. Starry Knight, Starry Dragon is going to be special summoned instead of the Steed, because Steed can summon any level 7 light dragon from the hand at quick effect speed. Starry Knight, Starry Dragon reads when it's summoned from the hand, it can target a card in the field and destroy it. This card is going to be Chirosophist, since Psychokinetic has already triggered its effects. Orbitail in graveyard is also going to be triggered in the same chain as the Starry Knight, Starry Dragon to special summon itself from the graveyard. Then we're going to overlay the Rael and the Orbitail in order to summon the Starry Knight, Starry Dragon, and use the effect of the Starry Knight, Starry Dragon ditching Rael, which is important here because it's a reborn from the graveyard. We're going to add Starry Night Sky, and then we're going to activate, and then the Droll and Lockbird is going to be sent from the hand to the graveyard in order to trigger things. It's just there for fun, why not? We're then going to activate the effect of Rael, special summoning back the Starry Night Steed, and then we're going to trigger the effect of the Starry Night Steed, ditching Starry Night Steed in order to special summon from the deck a Starry Night monster, which is going to be the biggest beta we have available, which is going to be Starry Night Galacale, and this is literally the end of the game. We're going to end main phase, go to battle phase, and swing in with Starry Knight, Starry Dragon, which has another effect where when it battles a monster, it can return that monster, it can banish that monster until the end phase, blinking it, and then it can attack again in a row, meaning that I have lethal on board. Congratulations to the 4 top cut duelists, and congratulations further to everyone who participated. These tournaments aren't possible without you, so it's wonderful to see so many people taking part. If you want to be a part of the next EXU Battleground, make sure you check out the Discord link in the description. As always, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and tell us what you thought down in the comments. Subscribe if you want to see more custom card content, and click the bell icon if you want to be notified every time we upload. That's all from me for this Battleground report. Report closed.